Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Bone, Blood, and Blade Legend of the Five Rings story. I am the Ravnos Archon. My name is Will, and I will be your storyteller this evening. And last we left off with our fantastic crew. We were short one Doji. We will be short one Kitsune today, but we opened up with Kitsune Koji at the Bayushi Tea House, sitting across from his friend, his good friend Togashi Mirio. And they were asked by the serving girl if they were here for the Topaz Championship, which they told them they were not, and that they were here just for the tea. We got to see a little bit of the Soshi doing scorpion things with his other scorpions as they talked about ordering some sake to give the daimyo as a gift, because that's what scorpions do. Once they know a secret, they use it to their fullest potential. But we got to see a missive arrive, a couple of missives arrive for Tamori Mori. One of them in particular was an invitation back to the Dragonlands so that they could participate in the wedding of one Mirumoto Kohoji, who was inviting them to her wedding. We got to see a little bit of Tamori and Soshi talking about the idea of marriage, of what overstepping boundaries looks like, and how to broach the subjects with their associates, one in particular. But we got to see that Togashi Mirio has history with Tamori Mori. They are actually cousins, and things got incredibly uncomfortable because of the way Togashi Mirio perceived Tamori Mori, and how old habits are hard to break, especially in people who are used to heteronormative ideals. But once they got to actually talking and they kind of diffused the situation from escalating, they learned that Kitsune Koji was in the city investigating the group, particularly Tamori Mori and Doji Izanagi, because of their connection to the events of Shiromori Sato and the possibility of shapeshifters having infiltrated different courts in Rokugan. We left off with everybody kind of splitting up. The Soshi went back and left a message for his betrothed in the form of a poem, a ciphered poem that was explaining the different situations that he had gotten into, the different places, and warning her about the issues with Kurokumo Shinai. We got to see Tamori Mori arrive at Aguro's tent and saw that he was packing up because he felt like things would be better without him around. And that's when they leaned in and actually kissed him, and things got incredibly interesting, I think is the word. But it's been a long time since we've seen our fantastic people, and as I enjoy their faces, we're going to open up with Doji. It is the
Hello,
evening.
everyone.
It is the evening prior, so because it is not like Doji to miss a invited social gathering. Maybe because of the lion, you might have found an excuse, but along with the missive that you got from Kitsune Koji about meeting him at the tea house, you also got a missive. Well, not you in particular, but your wife got a missive from the dragon family. She has been asked to officiate the wedding of one Mirumoto Kohoji and Daidoji Hanryo. It is a match that was made to further strengthen the bonds between the Dragon Clan and the Crane Clan. And it was initiated by one Asahino Kumiko.
Do I remember who that is?
I mean, I would hope so, because that's your sister.
Oh, that's my sister. Yeah. Sorry, we haven't played in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
I am shocked that they asked my wife to officiate.
Yeah.
Wow. Then there's a lot of planning that has to happen.
Mhm.
And are we also expected to host it or just officiate it?
Just officiate it. Your wife comes highly recommended by Asahina Kumiko, and because she has her own marriage to a crane, she felt that it would only strengthen the ceremony having her there.
No, it's well played. I'm proud of my sister.
Mm.
Okay, um, so I was invited to the to the um to the thing with the scorpion, but I missed that because
Yeah,
that was last game.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so what I was doing was
yeah,
I because I
the letter
still
has flustered your wife.
well, yeah. Well, during that time period, I wanted to make sure that I delivered the katana to the lion
Mhm.
because I still have it.
Yeah, they accept it and they thank you for bringing it to them.
Okay. Wow, my wife is flustered. I'm flustered as well because this was not expected. Um, well, are we going to make a public announcement about this, or has it already been publicly announced?
She looks at the missive and then looks up at you. Um, Announcement to who in particular?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just at a loss.
You're at a loss. I'm. I've never officiated a wedding.
I raise an eyebrow to that one. Um, huh. I guess we have a lot of reading to do. Um,
Because that
okay,
is
this
what
was an
where your
unexpected
strengths
move.
lie. Yes, of
This
course.
is an unexpected move from my sister. Um, but okay. I guess that we need to find you as much information as we could possibly find on officiating a wedding and what our responsibilities would be.
Um, yes, and we also have to figure this out in the span of whatever the travel time is going to be. And then she hands you a second missive from the Crane family uh, that is directed to you from your sister that denotes that you have, on behalf of her, traveling permissions given to you and to your family once the Topaz Championship concludes
Fair. Okay. Where is the wedding going to be held?
in the actual Dragonland, like in the
Oh,
Tamori stronghold.
the place me and my wife have been avoiding going to.
Correct.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, this is going to come to a head sooner or later.
Mhm.
Um, well, we need to put this aside for now. There's nothing to do to worry about this right now. We have our daughter in the Topaz Championship that we need to focus on. Um, and the current issue with the damn shapeshifters.
Mhm.
Um, I told my wife everything that happened. By the way,
Okay.
the fact that my katana broke, trying to cut into one of these things. Oh, and I need a replacement katana, from somewhere. I don't know if we even have replacements.
You have a couple of swords that you brought along to hand to the students. Um, you also have the katana that you ordered for your daughter. You could use that in the interim.
Blooding her blade before she got it would be honorable,
True.
especially in such a important mission. She'll understand. I take the katana. Um, yeah, like I don't know what else to do at this point. I'm pretty much at a loss. I haven't been at a loss in a while. Um, the implication of having to go back to the Dragonlands is rough.
Yeah. Um, she takes a moment, um, and after what seems like an impossible long silence that threatens to swallow you, like you clear your throat just to make sure that you haven't gone deaf. She looks up at you and she said, I've only told my father about this. And she looks down at her state.
Yes, but by now, many more people will probably know.
There's a smile and she holds out her hands to you.
I take them.
I always enjoy reminding you that we are not Crane. We don't gossip.
You don't gossip openly, my love. Remember, I stayed among you for more than one winter court.
She lets go of your hands. She goes, you are fortunate that you are handsome.
I just smile. Um, but don't worry. It would be unbecoming of them to have anything drastic happen while you're there to officiate such an important wedding. If anything, the event protects you.
There will be a lot of traditionally orthodox thinkers there.
It's not like we haven't dealt with those before.
We'll need to acquire paperwork for your associates.
I'm wondering if I want to bring the scorpion along.
It would behoove us. We are traveling through their lands.
Yeah, I know. I know. Just you're right. You're right. Oh, I doubt the little dragon's going to want to come along. She doesn't like home with good reason.
I,
I'll
I,
ask her.
I can persuade them.
You could certainly try, but they are like an oak and they do not bend easily. But maybe you and I together could convince them to come along as our personal guest.
I mean, given the challenge that you have presented to me, I would like to try by myself first.
Of course. Of course. Um, would you like some tea?
Please.
Yeah, I make her tea. We just sit silently for a little while.
Yeah. The next morning, one of the messengers arrives, and there is a missive with a crab insignia on it.
Interesting. Okay, I open it.
Uh, it is a very grown-up attempt at calligraphy. Uh, Immediately, you recognize it as a Guro's sloppy uh, attempt to be.
I'm impressed by his attempt,
Mhm.
actually.
There's a severe lack of like the sleeve rubbing the bottom part of the parchment. You can tell that he definitely held it up the whole time that he wrote this. Um, it's got like little traces of the sand that he used to dry the ink. This is a well thought out message, which makes it hurt even more when you digest the contents of it, saying that he has chosen to go back to Crablands. He finds that he is easily distracted between his disease and his emotions, that he feels that going back to Crablands might be beneficial to your group so that he doesn't hinder you further. Um, and let me have you roll your investigation for me. And it's it's not difficult because you know Aguro. You've practically grown up with him. Um, it looks like there is a couple of smudges towards the end of the missive. It seemed like some kind of water hit it, but not like a splash of water, like localized drops.
First of all, I'm going to fold this up and keep it because I'm impressed by my friend's calligraphy.
Mhm.
Um,
He used the right
and
kanji for everything.
yeah, it's like, what the hell? He's been practicing. Um, I'm going to rush out to see if I could get to him before he leaves.
Okay. You get to his tent. Everybody kind of let you wave you by. Um,
I have a feeling someone managed to figure out a way to delay him.
and when you get there, you notice that his things are packed. They've been packed up. Some minor stuff looks like they were in the middle of being packed. But otherwise, the tent looks a mess. The sleeping cot is turned over. There's no pillow, um, no blankets. He's nowhere to be found.
I asked one of the closest guards if they've seen him.
Uh, Doji-san, of course, he is hard to miss, especially when he was with his dragon friend.
I raise an eyebrow. Ah, that explains a lot.
Hmm.
Um, has he already left?
No, no, sir. He last we saw, he was headed towards the river with the dragon.
Ah, so I will sit in his tent.
Hmm.
I will pour a shot of sake and put my bottle there, waiting for him to come back in.
So as you're waiting, we will turn to the river. The events of the evening have washed away with the low tide of um, the ebb and flow of the river. A lot has changed, I think, between Tamori Mori and Hideguro.
Maybe on Hita's side. But I don't think a lot has changed for Mori. I think that this was something that they wanted from the beginning,
Okay.
and it was accomplished.
Okay.
They just needed a push.
There was a bit of pushing going on.
Several dozen pushings.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is definitely in a very different place. Like he doesn't look like he's slept the whole night. And even after you finished whatever round,
Really more than once.
of course. Yeah, but whenever you finish whatever round you got up to, like the exhaustion washed over. You thought, the both of you, but you come to the morning sun, kind of cracked through. But you notice that he's got his hand just up over your face to block out some of the sun.
There's like, obviously this isn't one of those and they woke up beautiful moments. It's one of those like, fuck. One of those The Witcher Geralt.
Yeah. Like it is very much like Anna in Frozen. Hair everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides. I don't like. Was it out in the open? Were we just like by the river? We were like, it's time to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, great. So
against a tree on a log.
Nice. I'm pretty sure I would not wake up fully clothed, but if the moment I wake up is the moment I would start like rebinding and like making sure that whatever is gonna happen for the rest of the day, I don't have a womanly glow, because that's exactly the opposite of what they want to happen.
Okay.
Especially after their fucking cousin was like, hey, she, her, him, or the So that's the first thought, is like a and then bind.
Yeah. And once you get up, he forces himself up, doesn't say a word, and just goes to the river and starts to wash his balls.
Perfect. What a gentleman. Tamori hasn't said anything yet and doesn't know what to say and doesn't know. Can I do like insight to have like, or like some sort of, I want to check and see like what, if I get any vibe on what he's feeling.
You want to do a vibe check?
Vibe check. Where's the vibe check die on here?
Just bring up his favorite local sports team. That'll help.
Yeah.
Hey, you watched that game yesterday? Fucking wild. Anyways,
wild
how
game.
You feeling?
Yeah. Yeah. Make an investigation roll.
Perfect. Will do. I'm gonna investigate this motherfucker, and that's all right.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
washing his balls. He's pretty open.
Yeah. For as long as you've known a girl, he has never hidden well how he feels. He is definitely putting up a wall.
Okay.
The vibe check is that he does not dislike what happened. He probably really enjoyed it, given his enthusiasm to go again and again. But the moment you got up and he didn't say anything to you, you definitely realize that he's probably trying to kill whatever has happened inside of him. Like there is a mourning like MOURNIN, slouch to him. Like he's not enthusiastically or happily washing his balls in the river. Like he is like solemn.
It's an image, though.
Yeah. Like he's
Sad
not
boy
he's
ball
not
wash
he's not
hours.
skipping around like just fucking handfuls
Yeah.
of water splashing up towards his genitals. Like he is like he's sitting there with like the balls just like barely above the waterline and just kind of like deep in thought.
Can I just take a second and say how much I miss this game? Just solemn, sad ball washing in a river is something I don't get in any other game that I play in. So thank you.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
You should. Next
You
time you're in
definitely
the
should,
shower,
for
if
sure.
you wash your balls happily, I'm gonna be mad.
I'm not. I promise you, I'm not
Perfect.
gonna be doing that just for you.
It's gonna be like Piero the Clown, except with genitals hand.
Yeah. I have the saddest music known to man playing.
A little violin.
Yeah. Little Danny boy.
As Mori is binding themselves, they kind of just like shoot up a question like, you wanted that, right? You didn't just do that for me, right?
He nods.
Okay. And there's like a very slow breath of relief because what Tamori really didn't want is for someone to do something just because.
Petty fuck.
Just because. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
get you.
And then the shudder of realization happens of like, fuck. Are we telling Doji?
He looks at you like you just told him that you rode over his beloved dog growing up. And then he looks back down if you want to.
Do you want to?
I don't care either way.
Are you still leaving?
For the best.
I will leave it up to you whether he knows or not. I'm sorry you're still leaving.
He doesn't say anything, gets out of the river, starts putting on his clothes, doesn't even dry himself.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Good.
The moment that Mori kind of finishes putting on their stuff, they extend a hand, kind of like,
good game.
I guess this is no, yeah, that and goodbye. Like if you're leaving, but they don't want to say goodbye, so they just give out their hand, and they're like, okay.
He looks at it for a moment, shakes it. And then you see him kind of wipe his pants, kind of drying himself off with his actual clothing, and just starts to walk away.
I walk away in the most opposite direction and as separate as possible because there's the vibe that he really does not want to talk to me, so all right. Well, that was easier than I thought.
Right?
Yeah. And they head back to their tent so they can just kind of like freshen up as quickly as possible before starting the day.
The moment you get back to your tent, you see that there's like a little messenger, a little crane messenger, just kind of like standing there, trying to balance themselves back and forth. They've got their hands one over the other in front of them, and there's a little scroll missive.
Hello.
She startles and stands up straight and bows. Tamori-san, hold out the missive.
Thank you. I unravel it to read it.
It is an invitation to have breakfast with Doji's wife.
The timing is impeccable.
The way that there's like a small like,
and there's no like rushed calligraphy here. This is
no, of course not.
This is prim, proper. Every stroke is an act of purity for the hiragana, the katakana, the kanji. Like everything is methodical.
The way that I'm very still until I kind of process and just out loud say like fuck.
And then the little crane girl just is startled, and she bows like, is that your response, madam?
No, it's not my. Well, that's not true. But also, don't. And then like it's like very aggressive because there's been no sleep, and also like I went into this whole sexcursion fucking pissed. So I was still, I'm like, there's still residual pissed. I was like, don't say anything. I will just show up. And then like one breath, please.
And she bows low. I will let my lady know that you are coming.
I even though I'm not supposed to, I bow back because of my fucking behavior. I'm just like, thanks.
She is there 1 second and then she's not there the next second. That's how fast she wants to not be there. But while all of this morning shenanigans is happening, where do we find Soshi? He is not plagued by love triangles or needed to be
not just
met.
his usual shrieking night terrors. So typically he wakes up later than everybody else anyway because, you know, shrieking unending night terrors. When those are done, he will go out and have his breakfast and give a short lesson to his apprentice he was assigned earlier if he's still kicking around.
Yes. Yeah, and he's excited for the lesson because the gempukku ceremony starts tomorrow.
And we must make sure that he acquits himself admirably.
Well, he has a good feeling about the afternoon event. The morning event, he is doubtful he will bring in any high marks.
And why is that?
Archery, my lord, is not my strong point. I have problems seeing things from afar.
I can see how that would be difficult. Tell me, are you better at seeing brighter colors or darker colors?
I mean, brighter colors.
Change your fletching to brighter colored arrows then. That will at least assist you on finding your target for successive shots.
Never thought of that.
Yes, well, thinking is my strong point. Also, remember, you are not...
He's a student of yours. You don't have to be facetious to him.
He meant it with purely tongue-in-cheek. The other thing you must consider is that you are not competing. It is not simply you, the arrow, and the target, but you are also competing against the other people. Those other people are... You don't have to shoot your best. You just have to shoot better than them. So I would advise finding out as much as you can about the other participants in the competition. Perhaps in the time between now and then, you'll be able to uncover a strategic advantage. They, for example, might not necessarily know of your difficulties seeing at range. You might not know some of their particular faults. Perhaps one has a weaker draw than another, or one has a family. These are all useful pieces of information that you could uncover that would aid you in the competition. But let's start small with brighter colored fletching, and then we'll work on to your opponents.
Of course. And he rushes off to start finding the brightest colors he could for his arrows.
I am so good at being helpful. God, I am just great at making everyone's lives better.
So good.
Everything about me just makes the world a better place.
Everything changed after that one night at the
It really
temple.
did. I just had to go to the shrine and promise I'd be nice to people for one day, and then the world has been my oyster ever since.
Ever since. That fortune has smiled on you.
It hasn't, but it also hasn't hurt me, so I'm considering it a win, given my luck.
You know, sometimes. But yeah, you see that there's a lot of fanfare. Everybody's really excited about the gempukku ceremony starting in earnest. There is just a lot of activity going on in the encampments. And give me an investigation roll, please.
That's where I'm a Viking.
I mean, you're gonna pillage it?
Yes, I'm gonna pillage the fuck out of it. Let's see. Investigation. Would my search specialty help with this?
No. This is cursory.
Yeah. Okay.
Not focused. If you focus afterwards, then yeah. But 27 is more than enough. Given that you've beaten Doji and Tamori's roll combined for their last two rolls.
It's been a long time. I'm rusty.
It's been a long time.
That's what he said.
Before he left. And you notice that the town magistrates are involved in the patrols of the encampments. They're helping to make sure that everything is going according to plan, that everything is going smoothly.
Hi, Muffin.
But it looks like all of them are. Oh,
Say hi.
look at that! Just putting your pussy up, people to look at.
No, it's already at ball washing. I figured
Touche.
Continue.
But it looks like all of the magistrates are involved in it.
And is assuming this isn't common.
Not that you've seen. They've pretty much, since you've arrived, you're one of the first clans to arrive, the magistrates have never shown any interest in the encampments.
Well, I will see if one of the magistrates taking part happens to be a phoenix by the name of Isawa Tensai. At least I think that's a phoenix.
They're not. The magistrates,
Okay.
the town magistrates are all like Ashigaru.
Okay.
Like
Then I will.
they're a little better than monks, but not as good as samurai.
I will find one.
They bow low at your approach.
I, as a hero of the people, also bow.
Okay.
It's not common seeing magistrates take a direct hand in the patrols. Something we should be aware of, my friend?
His head stays low. Our
Please raise your head. I'm not the emperor.
our daimyo has asked us to help in the protection of the encampments, my lord.
Interesting. Does he feel that we have something to be protected from?
He understands that.
You can speak freely.
Of course. He understands that the participants are the future of the empire. He wants no harm to befall them, my lord.
And has he asked that any competitions or participants in question receive more attention than others?
No. He does not want to show favoritism.
I'm going to attempt a social intelligence roll to figure out if this guy is not saying something that he thinks or wants to say.
Okay.
So would that be sincerity?
No, let's have you do investigation with awareness instead of perception.
Okay. I just switched the thing around. And where I'm actively looking for something, would my search apply to this?
Yes.
Okay.
Your search will apply to this.
I hit the button. I don't know if it worked.
There it is. Yeah. 16.
Okay. Wow. Ugh. Lowest I've ever, I think it's the lowest I've ever rolled on an investigation check.
That's like a Tamori level roll.
Well, it's awareness. I'm not as aware as I am intelligent. That's still a success, though. That's
it is.
Still,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is not giving away any kind of body language that would let you infer that he's lying to you or that he's hiding something from you. But this also might be what he was told and what he believes because he was told by someone higher up than him. So,
well, I won't keep you from your duties, and I want to personally thank you on behalf of all of the people that are here in attendance, that our safety and security is your top priority. We know that you will do your level best to make sure that we are all safe.
He bows
and that
low.
The daimyo could not ask for a better person to carry out his wishes.
It is I who should be thankful, my lord, for everything that you do for the Empire. And it's back to it.
Yes.
As you are investigating the situation, a guru walks into his tent and he stops the moment he sees Doji sitting there.
You're gonna leave without at least having one more drink.
Oh, I forgot that I had them send that to you in the morning.
I already poured it out for you.
Thank you.
I motioned to the bottle, so you can pour it for me.
And he does.
I understand why you feel you need to leave, and it is not my place to stop you. But at least let me walk you to the edge of town.
Of course. And you see him start to take off his clothing, which is all wet.
Went for a bath this morning?
Yes. I had a rough night.
I fight to hide the smirk on my face because what the guard told me outside, and I'm able to piece one and one together. But he looks sad.
Yes.
My friend, why the cloud hanging over your soul today? What's going on?
Things are not how I would want.
Things are rarely the way we want them. It is up to us to endure, fulfill our duty, and continue onwards, even when things are not the way we would wish them. The fates are never that kind.
This I have learned.
You've never been a man of this few words. What's going on? And this is not about what happened in the cave, is it?
And in the village prior,
How many times have you and I stood side by side in battle?
he starts to count on his fingers.
You don't have to count. It is way over a dozen. And 2 times something has happened. You're still valuable. I still rather go with you into that cave again than with anyone else.
He looks like he's trying to say something, and after a moment, you see that he just lets his last bit of clothing drop, and as he stands there nude in front of you, he just collapses and starts crying.
I make sure the tent is closed.
Yep.
And then I put a hand on him. I just sit there with him and let him cry. I just make sure that nobody comes close to that tent, and if they do, they're going to end up with the butt of a katana to the face.
Hello, I received the invitation. Oh, wow.
Ah. Nobody sees my friend cry.
Fuck no.
But yeah, he just bawls his eyes out and just word vomits all of his fears, all of his anxiety, his doubts. The main one is seeing that your daughter is already here for their coming of age test. Really puts the events of like what happened in the village and what happened in the cave into perspective for him, because he's afraid that something will happen that will trigger his condition and then you'll suffer for it. The last thing he wants is to be the one that has to tell your wife and your daughters that it's because of him that you couldn't come home.
Shouldn't that be my choice?
It is, and he tells you, through a bit of blubbering and trying to come to terms with the mess that he's become in front of you. He just wipes away the snot, starts to gather himself up. And he just looks at you as like, if I remove the choice, you never have to make it.
That's true, but I still rather have you here than anyone else. There are very few people I could trust. I could probably count them on one hand. And I not even use all my fingers.
I try not to use all my fingers.
I'm trying not to laugh.
But he takes a moment. He puts on a new pair of Hakama pants, and he goes, "You have Tamori. You have the scorpion now."
Yes, but the largest dragon I've ever met and the largest crab I ever met is a much better combination than just the largest dragon I've ever met and a scorpion. You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
And he puts on the undershirt, and then he just kind of comes over and lifts you up into a bear hug.
For the first time, I don't fight it.
Maybe I will bring you stories of what monsters actually exist in the Shadowlands.
Well, if your mind is made, let me help you pack. I'll walk you to the edge of the city.
He puts you down, and there is a somber sensation. As he finishes packing, he has somebody come over, put his stuff on a cart, and he goes over to the what's it called? The Kuni Sango, and he bows low. I am sorry I cannot stay for the completion of the tournament. It seems the fates have called me for other purposes. And she nods, she sees the two of you, and you can see that although she's not displeased about him leaving, she understands. And once you get to the edge of town, he takes the mule and cart that has his items, and he starts to walk south towards the Crablands. You're muted. Everything you said, completely muted. You pulled the
Darn
button.
it! Hold on.
Yeah, you pulled the button.
So I ask him to hold on.
Mhm.
I give him the bottle of sake and one cup, and I keep the other cup, and I say, for the next time we're together.
And he ties the bottle right behind the gourd that he normally keeps for himself. And he kind of looks down at it for a moment. Then he takes it off his belt and puts it in your hand. Parting gift for Tamori.
He gave me his gourd.
Yep.
I nod. Actually, no. I bow.
He returns it.
And when he gets up, I like clasp his hand. Reach up and put a hand on his shoulder. And I tell him to be safe.
He puts a hand on top of your head. I expect you to be taller when I see you again.
I will try.
Good. And he walks south.
Oh, by the way, you're going to get an invitation.
He stops. To what?
In X amount of time, the dragon lands. I expect you to be there.
It's a long walk.
You're coming to a wedding. As my personal guest. And you know how it drives them absolutely crazy when you visit. It's well worth the trip.
I assume that Kameki will be there.
Of course she would.
He.
Of course he would, sorry. Of course he would. But you know that me and him have... I think we've settled our differences. we're in a good place ever since the battle.
I can change that. He smiles and turns around.
May the kami be with you, brother.
Yep. And he exits.
I turn around, hiding the tears, and walk away.
How long does it take Tamori to straighten themselves out for breakfast?
Not very long. It's just like a small breakdown and then go into there.
Okay.
Small scattering of throwing your shit everywhere, making it smell like I didn't have sex all night, and then let's go.
Because you didn't wash your balls in the river.
I did not. Tamori does not have balls to wash in the river. Surprisingly.
The wheelbarrow says
Still
differently.
have that. Especially, you still probably have that.
There's
glow.
a origami folded scorpion waiting at in Tamori's tent.
What the hell? There's a startle first because I'm like, oh fuck it, scorpion. But then they're like, oh, okay. And should they unfold it? Like, is it a note or should I just have the scorpion?
It is an origami scorpion that someone has left at the entrance to your tent. You may decide whether you will open it and see if there's a note or not.
It's drawing a piece of art.
Yeah, I open it because I'm just like, nobody would just leave me this. What is this? And then I'm like, I know who it's from, but I open it.
Did you send her?
Just
send them a note?
Something real quick. So yeah, 23 on that origami check.
Whoa! It is really nice. Sorry for destroying it.
It just says, "Please join me for breakfast, your friend Tetsuro."
Perfect. I'm bringing Tetsuro with me to Doji's. Perfect. Okay. I go to Tetsuro first and say, you need to come with me. No questions asked. Let's go.
But breakfast.
We're going to have it. With somebody else.
I've taken the time to set this wonderful spread out of rice and fish.
Tamori literally is like, it is a beautiful. Starts packing it up, putting it under their arm.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to fold that scorpion with one hand?
And it again, beautiful. This is I can't, but you need to come with me.
I am coming purely out of morbid curiosity to see what has you suddenly so animate.
We don't want I'm on a scary adventure, and you need to join me.
Well, I'm honored that I can be included in your adventure. There won't be a large, bigoted member of your family there that I inadvertently might get myself killed challenging to a wrestling match, will there?
No, much worse.
Oh, good. Well, I'll bring a rice ball then.
Tamori literally took as much of the breakfast as possible, and even if it's burning fucking hot, they're just holding it and they're like, got it.
Yep.
Gotta go. Like a fucking teapot, they're ready. They took it off the fucking stove and they're taking it as well.
Yep. There is a jingle jangle of wooden plates kind of clacking against each other. The kind of clattering of the clay from the teapot that you took with you that was nowhere near ready to be steeped, but is still hot. And you see, Soshi, you see that they are taking you into the crane encampment.
We're going to see Doji, and Doji's the reason I don't get to have my breakfast, is he?
No, we're not seeing Doji. Well, we might, but we're not. It's not the reason.
Okay.
The reason is you by Hoobastank.
That's the
Uh,
theme of the last winter court.
all right.
Hooba stank.
Hooba stank. And that's what you're getting a whiff of. River stank. But
River stank. I have oils. I have perfumes. I have essential. I have grass.
I believe you. I believe you. Grass.
Grass.
Wild flowers that I've picked personally. Yeah.
Mori, you seem rather disheveled.
I am rather disheveled. But I feel that you are not only a great asset this morning, but a great friend who can help me in another situation where I have to be verbally sharp.
And the servants all lead you to Doji's tent.
So Tetsuro stops, like mid stride, and like it takes a solid 2 or 3 heartbeats before Mori realizes he's not immediately racing alongside the food cart.
Mm-hmm.
You called me friend.
I did.
That's how it starts.
And he just starts following. No other words. Nice clipped pace.
That's
There's
like
a-
Calcifer in House Moving Castle. She likes my spark.
But
he is there. There is a bewildered yet somewhat. He's very surprised by the satisfied smile that's on his face underneath the mask.
nobody can see.
Yep.
Nobody knows.
But yeah, the servants open the tent to Doji's area, and you see his wife sitting there. A beautiful breakfast spread has been laid out, but she has this elegant dragon-colored towel over her lap. She has this very thick gray kind of granite stone, and she has her wakizashi, and she just has a whetstone that she's just sliding across the edge of the blade as she looks up. And you have that kind of heartbeat of as she's sharpening her blade.
Good morning.
Tamori-chan. Oh, you brought a friend.
I did, and plenty of food for friends, so you can't get upset that I invited him last minute.
I am not upset that you invited him at all. And you see she turns the blade around and starts to sharpen the other side.
I apologize that I was not able to bring a sufficient contribution to the breakfast. I did the best I could with the limited amount of time that I had available. I did not want Tamori Mori to have the shame of bringing along a guest who did not contribute.
Oh, we are well aware that you have lent them a hand. And there is a very poignant, kind of hard rubbing of the whetstone on the blade when she says that to you.
Well, I only have the one. I do the best I can with it.
We have made notice of this.
Well,
And she lays out the missive for the wedding invitation.
When you say we, do you refer to you and your sagacious paramour, or do you mean a larger, august body?
Oh, the prior. The latter has strengths that are not ocular.
I see. Well,
Tamori's fucking lost.
one
Tamori's
would be
like, these are
thrilled.
words.
One would be thrilled to one day be thought of so highly that they would be able to share in such insights. But one also understands that such things take time. Now,
Of course.
if it would not be rude of me, I am vanished.
Please, enjoy yourself. And she grabs the knife and she just points it at Tamori. Do you also want to eat while I talk, Tamori-chan?
I was going to serve you first.
Oh, how pleasant that would be.
I thought so. They
Are we in the
immediately
habit
tap on a
of-
fucking plate. Hiko.
Are we in the habit of bearing steel at these forms of breakfast?
Oh, I so used.
There's a nudge. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mori fucking nudges the shit out of Soshi. Like, shut the fuck up. Let her do what the fuck she wants to do.
But she smiles and she looks at you, clocking that Tamori nudged you. I am just so used to not having them on time, Soshi-san, that I thought it a good use of my morning to prepare myself for any dangerous, and she just locks eyes with Tamori, propositions that might pop up throughout the day.
Well, as you pointed out, I'd like to consider myself a good influence on Tamori and Izanagi as well. Making them on time is just one of those things I contribute to the team.
I
I didn't even notice there was a time on the invitation.
There is no time on the invitation, Tamori-chan.
They're doing mental math.
time-
Like, how the fuck did I get late if there was no time?
The time is when you are not late. And as you can see, we are on time.
Tamori-chan, I have been invited to a wedding in Dragonlands.
So have I.
Oh, do we know the same person?
I believe we do. And there is like an absolute. They become a rock. Like they're so hard and unmovable when at the mention of their family. I believe that there's a wedding at my family's estate.
Oh, how surprising.
Your odious cousin will be attending, I'm assuming.
You have a cousin?
I do.
Was it uncle or cousin? It was a cousin, right?
Cousin.
Cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's in town. I
Huh.
hope you don't get to meet him.
And she looks at you and she just uses the knife edge, points it at you. She's like, please come over here. Come closer to me. I feel like I don't know enough of you now that I've learned there's a cousin in town.
They edge closer, and they're at this moment. Now that it's realized that they're not going to talk about them fucking last night, there's like an ease because it's like, okay, so we're fine. But there's a new unease, which is just now we're going to talk about family, or at least attempt to talk about family.
Mm-hmm.
So they sit right next to her.
Okay. Yeah.
No more fear.
The moment that you drop one fear, and you just kind of see the smile on her face, and she just keeps the wakizashi on the stone slab that's on her like you see the scabbard there, like she does not sheath it, she still has it out, and for the first time you feel her hand kind of just caress the side of your neck as it goes to the back of it, and then you feel a vice-like grip on the back of your neck, and she leans in close. You are going to go to this wedding, yes, Tamori-chan?
I have not decided.
I wish people would stop threatening my friends. This is getting I don't want to have to step in again.
There's a actual like sigh of relief out of Mori, and they kind of hold on to the hand on their neck and look at them very honestly and very sincerely and say, I have not decided, and your influence will not influence my decision. I have to make the choice on my own.
She let go. And there is a sharp slapping of the sword being put into its sheath. I've lost my appetite. You'll have to excuse me.
Are you sure you've lost your appetite? Can I entice you? Can I feed you?
No, thank you. And she pushes the stone slab off of her lap, and it hits the hard packed earth with a heavy thud. My servants will see you out.
And so they get up to go.
Feel better. It is a crime to waste such a repast.
They bow deeply to her and exit the tent. They didn't want to. Their intention wasn't to upset them, but
Yep.
She's also a very small woman, and I am a very big person. So, threaten me all you want, baby.
And as you walk out, you see that the doji is approaching. Somber step to him.
My
If
head's
I may
actually
make a
down.
recommendation, clove oil. I noticed you frantically sharpening during the course of our conversation, and I just want to make sure that you get every speck of rust from the blade. Clove oil. And he offers a small bow and collects the breakfast he wanted to have that he brought.
Works. But yeah, you see Doji coming up. How are you walking?
My head's actually down, which is very uncharacteristic of me.
Mori, may I ask why you're being threatened this early in the morning?
Did I hear that?
Sure.
I look up.
I look between them both and decide to try to add levity. I think it's just my size. I think people are intimidated by how big I am.
Probably. I bow shallowly and walk into the tent.
Mind the blade, Doji. I imagine it's quite sharp at this point.
You see that your wife is at her desk writing.
Tetsuro, would you like to complete our breakfast?
Yes, by the gods, that's all I've wanted for the last hour.
Then let's not waste any more time. Find a place to sit and just eat.
A couple nice places out in the village itself that you can go and have like a picnic.
We could have a picnic by the river. It's a lovely view.
Let's not. Let's pick another place.
Oh.
Oh, nice by the river.
It's so great by the river. I have agreed. But I don't want to walk so far.
My
legs are too long and you can't keep up.
I find that to be a little dismissive of my physical capabilities, but I'm all for being able to eat. This is what I am famished. And his wife did not let us eat because she was busy threatening you. And that was not conducive to a good breakfast.
Here, there's a spot right here that we can eat.
Excellent.
This random one. Not by any river or body of water at all.
Nope.
I then reach into my pack and pull out an hourglass, a little one, and turn it and set it down.
Okay.
I will bet a koku that by the time that hourglass runs to the other side, Doji is going to come out of that tent over there, and he's going to go hunting for one of us, if not both.
I am not going to bet against you because I think the same thing.
Excellent.
Interesting. But yeah, Doji will see that his wife is trying to keep it together.
I help myself to breakfast, which has been laid out.
Mhm.
And I fix her a plate of breakfast.
He thanks you. And she does kiss your hand as you set
I
the plate
assume
down.
badly.
She brought the scorpion with her, so yes, it did go badly.
She
I don't know what
is.
she's talking about. I was very well behaved.
She is very what's what I'm looking for? She doesn't quite understand scorpion nature, I'm afraid. She has befriended a scorpion, and that never ends well.
They are making bad choices. This is true.
Well, Oguro is also left to the Crablands. I
Why?
accompanied him to the edge of town.
Why did he leave?
You know what? There's no secrets between me and my wife. I tell her everything he told me. I tell her that he broke down crying. That I've never seen him cry. Well, no, I saw him cry once.
Yeah.
Once. But other than that, this is the second time I've seen him cry.
He sits there for a moment as she listens. And she uncharacteristically opens her wakizashi thumb length and then closes it very angrily. We have been burdened with idiots. And a scorpion.
He is clearly not an idiot, unfortunately. And Mori's not an idiot. Mori is just naive. They have luckily been able to skirt the possible implications of their actions for a very long time, mainly because our family hates her. For no good reason, I mind you, but that is what it is.
I would have appreciated some time alone with them, but I had to change tactics when I saw the scorpion with them.
If anything, you probably brought them closer together.
Probably.
I lie down on like one of the pillows, and I look at my wife and I say, "It seems that both of us are a little off our game today." It's
A
okay.
little.
Everybody's allowed to have bad days.
We're gonna have some more, I fear.
And we will face them together. I feel the incredible need to spar. Do you want to come watch?
No. I should rewrite this letter I was writing in anger.
I would suggest you write the letter, then burn it, then write another letter.
I might just do that.
And before you burn it, smudge the ink all over the place, because I've seen the scorpion rebuild things. You don't want them to fall into the wrong hands.
That is a valuable lesson.
I give her a kiss, and then I get up and I leave the tent, grabbing one of the bokens I have there. And I'm gonna go gather the future the crane that are part of the ceremony,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna put them through drills.
Okay. And Tamori and Soshi will see just as a little bit of sand is left in the hourglass.
Watching him stomp off with a balkan in his hand.
Just like clockwork, you see the doji come out, and right as you're about to enjoy your prediction, he does not come towards you, and instead he starts barking names, and you see students come rushing over, and he starts to put them through drills.
Oh, this is even better. One wonders if unjustified frustration is a sexually transmitted condition, Tamori.
There's like a sharp head turn to Soshi, and there's a small whisper of like, why do you always start with one? Why can't we say we wonder or you wonder? Why do you say one?
Because I hope that one day, when my story is told, it will be as a fable. Fables are best told as concepts, not people.
Okay. It was just like an honest question Maury had. Like, all
That's
right,
deep as fuck.
Oh, by the way,
Mm.
when all the students come up, I do take my daughter aside and let her know that her uncle will not be here.
You see the same rain cloud that seemed to follow him into the tent now hangs over her.
I just give her a nod, and I say that he was called away on personal business.
Mori Mori,
Hmm.
we're friends, right?
As of today, yes.
I want to show you something.
Mark it in the calendar.
Come with me.
All right.
No fight whatsoever.
Nah.
Yeah.
They ate breakfast. They were feeling a little bit like better about everything. They're just like, hey, I wasn't bullied into going somewhere I didn't want to go to. I had breakfast. I had sex. I think we're all good for right now. Like their mood has lightened the most with food, but like overall, not a bad start to the day.
Yeah, man.
I have to
You can't get anything else out of this day.
I have to watch the archery competition in a little while to cheer on my apprentice, but
That's tomorrow.
there's something that I have plenty of time to do this.
Yeah.
I take the idea of friendship very seriously because, shockingly, it may come to you, I do not have many. So
That
I
doesn't
value
come
the
as a
ones.
shock to me. They say
I
that very
value
like
the.
laissez-faire.
I know. So it is with the idea of demonstrating how much I value your friendship that I would like to show you a secret. And we're going to go find somewhere very secluded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ward the living hell out of it against intrusion through the power of magic. And then Tamori's going to get a show.
Show. But not like a by the river show, right?
What does that mean?
Could have just as much potential
No.
negative effects. So once I'm picturing this kind of like it in a 2-mile walk outside of town to an old house that's been abandoned or left, someplace with walls. I'm going to definitely ward the living hell out of the place before I do anything.
Sure. Yeah, the only weird thing that you find is that there is under the kind of hay stuffed futon that's been ramshackled in the corner and probably forgotten for several months at least. As you kind of clear the space, you'll find that there is a burned kanji symbol into that corner.
Love it.
It's the kanji symbol for gold.
Perfect. So I'm going to throw two spells out.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out Mists of Illusion.
Ooh.
Which is an illusion of any object, individual, or image that I can conceive of.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is going to be Way of Deception, which creates a illusion of myself. So it's going to basically look like we're talking, and then we're going to be talking somewhere else while those two people talking are doing something completely different, so that they're seen potentially by passersby.
Okay.
What I am about to show you, I want you to answer. Before I do this, I need you to answer me honestly. That we are friends, and that what I tell you will be not spoken of to anyone. This includes Doji. This includes family.
I don't have any family that I would tell. You have my word.
And I nod, and the hat comes off. His hair shakes loose, and it kind of cascades down.
Mm-hmm.
He reaches over to the strap on his right shoulder and unbuckles the straps to it. His kimono falls open, and then a black armored hand fills the space where the empty arm used to be.
It is like a shadow that takes up mass. It is unnerving at first because the shadow itself looks three-dimensional. It is not a flat representation of something. It is an actual arm that fills his space where his arm should be. Even the fingers kind of can wrap around each other.
Is this your magic?
It's becoming my magic.
Why don't you use this out? It seems that it would be helpful to have two arms, even if one is Whatever it is.
There are 3 reasons for that. Reason number 1 is that it is common knowledge that I have 1 arm, therefore anyone expecting me with 2 will be at a disadvantage. That is a huge advantage for me. And number 2, I did not create this spell. And number 3, and perhaps most importantly, there are people who may think they know what this is, and their ignorance and lack of knowledge will lead them to draw a conclusion that this is wrong. That this sorcery that was used to create this effect is tainted when it is not. It is different, but it is not tainted.
I understand.
It's similar, I'm starting to feel, to the magic that the shapeshifters use.
I'm not scared of it if that's what you were worried about.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to show you. I find that unburdening oneself of secrets is remarkably freeing for my clan. We don't do it often. But I am showing you this and placing my life in your hands. Because again, should someone think they know about this particular phenomenon, they more than likely will have incorrect information that will lead them to believe that I should be destroyed or that I am communing with some fell entity. I assure you, any entities I communicate with, though probably morally gray, are not in and of themselves tainted, as the crab would say.
I understand. Were you worried about the Crab Clan finding this?
Mori, I am worried about anyone finding this until I have had enough time to fully investigate it. Any
There's...
kind of and the it actually looks almost like a black chitin armor has formed over the shadow as he's been talking. It's become more solidified, and the finger points end in claws. And he kind of like, have you ever seen the G.I. Joe movie? The old one with like Cobra Law, like the
Like,
kind of
the cartoon? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It looks like that, only black.
I thought you were
No, I
talking about
was
the
thinking
live
about
action.
drag queens when they have gloves that have nails at the end of them, and I'm like, ooh, pointy nails.
Yeah,
Or like
that also
the
works.
darkness. Yeah. Any of those comics. Any tucks it away and it reforms, and he takes the time to strap everything back together.
Your secret is safe with me.
There's a slight, very quiet, almost like on the wind, far away shriek as the arm is put away.
Does that normally happen?
Does the shriek sound familiar?
It's gotten louder, but it is definitely the same shriek. It is. You have come to know this as the arm's refusal to be put away.
The arm does not like to be hidden. It feels like you do, that it is foolish to only have 1 arm when you could have 2. So, excellent. Any secrets you want to tell me?
Sure. I was being genuine in the tent this morning, and I don't know what decision I'm going to make. I don't know if I should run with fear and continue avoiding, my family or confront them. And I know I have support, but it doesn't make it the easiest to go back.
There was a incident that happened when I was a child. A story that I'm familiar with. A young lord was playing in the castle with one of the servants. They were friends. And the young lord's mother was very against the mixing of social circles, but the young lord didn't care. He didn't have very many friends in the castle. And one day they were playing, and a horse was spooked and rolled in fear. It was startled and rolled over the young lord, who became horribly injured. The mother of the young lord, when the incident was brought to her attention, came down, and the young lord thought to himself that he would be healed because his mother had the capability to do so. His house was powerful and wise, rich with shigenja and healers. The young lord's mother asked who injured her son, and the lord said that it was his own fault, that he was playing and that the horse was spooked. He knew that if his mother had found out about him playing with his friend might be punished, and at the end of the day, he would be healed regardless, so why implicate the boy? His mother, however, sensed that he was being lied to, and to teach the young lord a lesson, she had the shigenja who was there to heal the arm called away, and in front of the young lord's eyes, she had the servant killed. Teach the young lord about status, obligation, and family being the most important thing. The reason that I think this story is apropos is that you can run in fear, or you can face your family. If the reason you're running in fear is because you fear death, which, at the heart of things, we all do, even if we say we don't. Shido be damned. There are things that are intrinsic to family, but loyalty is not necessarily one of them. Be the person that you know you are. And don't let anyone ever... Don't change who you are for anyone, because they're not going to change for you. The woman was going to kill the servant boy regardless of whether he had confessed or not. Spare yourself the same pain and be the person that you know you are, and make them deal with it. It's their problem. The worst that they can kill you.
I don't think they could kill me if they wanted to. And
Well,
there's like a
especially...
small smirk.
Well, the great Tamori Mori is a fearsome foe on the battlefield, and with her, some would say, villainous companion at her back to watch over it, I think that your family would have a lot to be afraid of if they tried.
I don't find you villainous. I
You
do find
said
you obnoxious at times.
you said untrustworthy and villainous when we first met.
I think that I trust you a little bit more now.
I should hope so. I just put my life in your hands.
I'm still not aware of all this magic stuff. I'm not fully, at least on your side. But I'm hopeful that this is all a test and I've passed. A friendship. I would like to be your friend even though you're annoying at times.
And I would like to be your friend, even though you are thuggish and violent. In fact, sometimes that's a selling point.
Okay, yours had too many words.
Mori hits stuff good.
Mm-hmm.
Tetsuro happy.
There's like a small laugh, and then there's if your hand is fully away, there's a harder than they should have shove of like shut up like a one of those.
He's knocked off balance, and that's to correct himself. And outside, the two images vanish. Well, what an eventful day.
Yeah. Well, all of that is
So we're
happening.
going
While all of that is happening, back in the village, the kids are put through their paces. Your daughter, even more so than the rest, there is this not doubled or redoubled amount of effort since she found out that Aguro's gone, but there is an emotion that she is working through, that she is putting through herself as fuel.
Yes, use your emotions. Just kidding.
Hey, let the anger flow.
Let the anger flow through you. No, actually, I would. Is she losing control to it or just using it?
No, doesn't look like it so far.
Okay,
She's
then
coming
I'll-
close, but there's something that keeps her from teetering.
After I've kick the crap out of them doing drills for Ijitsu, I make sure they start practicing some archery.
Their arms are burning when you bring up archery, but they begrudgingly suck it up and start firing off arrows. The only one that seems to be a hindrance for them is the Asahina. Everyone else seems to be pretty good. That's why I couldn't hear you, because you're muted.
Sorry. I go over and try to give some pointers, and I say, try to breathe, relax, do not hold the bow so damn tight. When you release the arrow, let the bow bend. Basic, but trying to give them some encouragement.
He is completely terrified of the bow. Like, he doesn't even pull it all the way back. Like, there's no securing it to his chin or to his ear. Like, the second that he even gets like his left arm locked in place, he lets go of the arrow, and there are wild shots.
Were you ever bitten by a bow?
He looks at you strangely. No.
You act like you felt it sting once.
They're dangerous.
Sora Katana, and you swing those around without any problem.
I do not, actually.
Wait a minute, they weren't practicing with us just now?
Yeah. They were practicing. They're terrible at that too.
Oh. Well, your strengths are not in combat. You'll do the best you can.
I'm Shugenja, my lord. I don't think I'll ever see combat.
I just look down at him. I'm thinking, poor innocent child.
You sweet summer child.
You sweet summer child. You might, but your blade is your magic. Your bow is your spells. You'll do well.
And he nods and
Wait a minute. So, when I use the bow, I have a little help. I pull the bow back. My air kami starts to swirl a little bit.
oh.
And he feels it probably.
Yeah.
And I let loose an arrow. And I go, is there anything in the rules that say that he cannot use magic when he shoots a bow because he's a Shukenja?
The rules is written as far as the gempukku ceremony is concerned, especially the Topaz Championship, is that nobody gives 3 fucks about what Shugenja do because they will never be Topaz Championships.
Exactly.
Champions.
So I tell him that trick of mine that he could probably do infinitely better than I can.
He looks at you, he's just like, is that allowed, my lord?
For you it is, because you can't be the Topaz champion, but you could still win.
Should I focus on winning?
Focus on doing the best you can, because the best you can honors your family, honors your ancestors. You don't need to win. Just put a good showing in. Just make sure they don't underestimate Shukenja.
Understood. And you see him pull the bow back like he's always done, except
And I say subtly. This has to be done with subtlety.
and there is this little kind of like hum that he's doing as he pulls the string back, and although he doesn't anchor it and he doesn't like knock it to any part of his body, the arrow looks like it's about to veer low, and then there's this draft that comes up and just bullseyes.
I just have a giant smirk on my face. And I go, remember, you can't be the Topaz champion. Just put a good show in.
And he bows low.
And I return the bow, not as low, of course, but I do bow.
Yeah. Okay. The end of the night comes by, and you receive a missive that, again, the Kitsune would like to meet with you and your entourage, your group, the dragon and the scorpion, at your earliest convenience. He will be at the tea house for breakfast if you would like to join him before the ceremony begins in earnest.
I'm left to wonder if they're really truly still my entourage. I noticed that he did not mention Oguro. So he knows Oguro left.
No.
Yeah, he probably knows. I guess I will send a messenger to my entourage, letting them know that we've been invited to dinner.
Oh, I thought we weren't your entourage no more.
I said I don't know if you are. I
Mm.
have
okay.
no idea what's going on anymore.
Damn.
Yeah, because the way you guys walked out of my wife's tent, I don't know if you even want to be around me right now.
Just avoid it like you always do.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't avoid things. I go headlong into them. Excuse me, queen of avoidance. Where is it that you don't want? Where is it that you don't want to go back to? Oh yes.
Damn. He played that Uno reverse card. But as
Yeah, I'll send a message out to both of them saying
Okay.
that we've been invited to dinner, that we should
breakfast.
meet someplace before going there, so we go together.
Okay.
I'll mention the meeting at my tent before heading over there.
Okay. The rest of the night goes by uneventfully. You guys all get to sleep and rest up as the gempukku ceremony is about to begin. And I think this is a good point to call it for tonight. So thank you guys for coming back to this. It's been a long time.
You're welcome.
It was fun.
Yeah. Some people, they want to do professional theatrical shows and they ruin it for everybody else.
You mean it?
Yeah, I'm glad that we got a chance to come back to this. I was definitely very sad while it was on hiatus. But yeah, thank you guys for being a part of this, and thank you for joining us as audience members. As always,
yay, the band's back together.
Yeah, and you got Ike next time. But Mondays are for Vampire the Masquerade. Tuesdays are for Legend of the Five Rings and Werewolf the Wild West. And as of right now, every other Thursday is for 7th Sea, which is a fantastic system. I just finalized what I want to run in the interim alternate with 7th Sea. So as soon as I get art, I will start to plug that. Be on the lookout because there's going to be a new story coming up. But otherwise, you can find me on Wednesdays at McStabber Studios in their Dark Age Vampires game. I play a very even-keeled and level-headed La Sombra swordman. So, it's like Puss in Boots, but in 1198. So that's good fun. But yeah, as always, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Know that we take mental health on the channel very seriously. And if you need help and you're watching live, there are resources going up on the Twitch chat. They'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube later. But there are phone numbers to help you get the help that you need. There are people out there who want to help you, and there are resources out there for you. You just have to kind of take that first step. If you're not in the United States or you need help finding other places or you want other alternatives, there's a link going up as well. That'll be in the description box as well to help you find the resources that you're looking for. So just know that it is okay to not be okay, and that there are people out there who want to help you, and there are resources at your disposal should you need that help. So don't be afraid to take that first step, unlike Tamori Mori, who is a little afraid of what's to come. But as always, we appreciate you. I appreciate you for being in this game and let me be your storyteller. But as always, take care of yourselves. We'll see you when we see you, and have a good night. Bye.